Hello, lovely Geminis. This is your tarot reading for the week of May 14th through May 20th. For all of you who are mothers, happy Mother's Day. And I really got a really groovy reading here. And I think you'll like this because there's some historical meaning that will make you feel connected to not only this lifetime but other lifetimes. So check it out. Stay tuned. So you, lovely Geminis, are symbolized by, other people have named it Unity, but in the traditional Rider Tarot deck, it is the Hierophant. Hierophant was a priest who specialized or interpreted mysticism. So thought that was, very life-affirming, as the power of tarot has been around with us for eons, long time. So not only you, dear Gemini, but other people have reached out so that they can, what am I supposed to say? Okay, God. She's saying that means everybody, other people have known about the other side for a long time. And long time. We're going, okay, now I'm not supposed to interpret. There's, okay, what? Okay. That means you, we, they, we are one. And not like in an alien way, because I know there's a popular alien movie out there that maybe had that as one of the lines in the movies, but it's not alienating. It's supposed to be, okay, I'm supposed to listen. It means that you're a co-creator with God. And owning that responsibility will assure you an easier life. It's kind of like one of those golden messages that if you don't pay attention to will pass you by. You won't learn in elementary school, your corporate job, or well, maybe you'll, depending on what that is. I'm not saying all corporate jobs aren't spiritual, so that's certainly not true. And a lot of corporations are green, and they do a really good job of being green. But I'm just saying that that's an art form that I think was probably more relevant back in the day. So that's what I'm going to say about that. And so the Unity or the Hierophant is crossed by the High Priestess. So that's it's a spiritual revelation. What? You're cutting me off again. Somebody out there is giving away their power, so they need to take a look of where they're giving away their power. Somebody's like spending too much time alone, so that inability to get a hello. It's kind of like they're saying that they feel grounded more if they're alone, but the reality is that there's some interesting energy around them that wants them to be alone, so they need to look at that. So hello. And and they probably are too afraid to admit it to themselves for fear of insecurity, something, I don't know. So I'm not going to get between, oh, that's enough, okay, fine, good. So I have to move on now. And So the Nine of Coins, okay, so you're crossed by the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is one of those unique cards too. Because this is the best you can hope for in this particular, what you're creating in this week. It says, trust your intuition, pay particular attention to your dreams and any intuitive messages that you receive, because they are actually guiding you. Yeah, right now you're really not supposed to act. It's like one of those times when your mental resources are overwhelmed, so you're just supposed to sit tight, not go race into action. Just, gain more insight, withdraw from the noise of daily life, ask for guidance. And they're saying silence is golden. So it kind of reminds me of the Hermit card, but this is the High Priestess card. The Hermit has a different kind of meaning. It could be studying spiritual topics and or keeping your dreams or desires to yourself, keeping them on the down low, because either the people that you hang out just can't have that much information, they can't have it. You're going to get excluded if you let on that you're studying spiritual matters. So just, keep it on the down low. It's just for you anyway. Let people be exactly where they're at. That's one of the hugest lessons you could learn in this lifetime. What? They're always cutting me off. Okay. And you need to look at where the energy is set at responsibility. So, yeah. So be it. Have the information or not. Okay. So, Nine of Cups is in our future position. And 9 is indicative. There's 2 9 cards. One is 9 of Coins, which is in our imminent future, and the other one is in the future placement. And they're both 9s, and that actually heralds a completion of a cycle. And the 9 of Cups card is your wish comes true. Your wish comes true. What you've prayed for has finally come to you. So your concerns should fade because your efforts will be rewarded in more ways than one. So now we're like luxuriating in the simple pleasures, material comforts, and we're running beauty, happiness, and contentment. Or we're actually happy, because of outward beauty or our own inward beauty, and we're contented. So yay, that's a good place to be, right? Don't you think, in the future? And the Page of Swords card in the in the outcome spot is you'll be receiving new information. And the information may come from someone who speaks bluntly. You know how teachers drone on in the monotone. Could be a teacher or could be someone who's not in your immediate circle. You could overhear some conversation, and that information is a sign for you. Maybe it's about taking a yoga class or that kind of thing. Yeah, so you don't have to be, don't get stuck on the fact that somebody delivered you something blunt, because that's indicative of the Page of Swords. They're, if it comes from a man sometimes is blunt. It could be a woman, but the page is usually somebody who's younger, and they're somebody who's in their head, so maybe they just are not good with feelings or with other people. So again, don't get stuck on the delivery of the message. Don't kill the messenger. Just, it's the message that's important. Yeah, truth is delivered without tact. That's so. Let's see. Let's come back away and let's make sure all our. And then the Five of Cups card is in our immediate past, and things may not have turned out the way you expected. In sometimes in the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, they would go, "You're crying over spilled milk," but that's like in a reversed sense of the card. Could point at the end of a relationship, something, like wishing you could change the past, so getting kind of stuck in that vibration. It could be a little bit obsessive. Sometimes we get lost in our thoughts and we go round and round. I know as a younger person, probably did my fair share of, going round and round my thoughts until, you start getting older, and then you figure out life isn't supposed to be perfect. It's nowhere close to being perfect. So a lot of the expectations you stop thinking about things that really just don't matter. Just don't, they're not worth a darn to think about. And you might actually be ignoring change, like it's necessary, but you just, you're procrastinating because you think if you ignore it, it's going to go away. Or maybe you're just focused too much on the negative. You could just be focused too much on the negative. Or you could be missing the silver lining, meaning, always our limitations form us just as much as our strengths. Now, that's not from a victim position. It's more of when God gives you lemons, make lemonade. And it's from you don't have to become older, but it's not normal for a younger person. What? I'm supposed to let them divine intervene and say it better than I could. Oh, they're going, whenever they're talking about positive and negative, meaning whenever there's something positive, then there's something, it's like, then there's going to be a reaction, almost like a chemical reaction. In chemistry, we learned that positives attract, and that negatives and if electrons and, oh my God, I'm going to show my complete non-scientific brain. Anyway, like attracts. So when you're coming out of a situation that was stuck for a while, you're going to have almost like a chemical reaction. Somebody's going to go, I don't want you to change because, you were healing me, and I really don't want that. So when you're taking a huge step forward, people are going to chafe at the bit. Don't do that. So that's what the other side's hinting at. So this is kind of like that. It's a growth period. And they're just saying, yeah, things didn't turn out the way you expected to, but that doesn't mean that God's not real and He's not listening to your prayers, and don't demand that they be answered in a certain way, because as we get older, we realize we're just getting in our way when we do that. We're not allowing God, who knows better than us, we're not allowing the divine to intervene. And so now I'm really going to listen to what the other side is saying and to pull it all together. Something about narrowing your choices down to one. It's my Midwest. Narrowing your choices down to one. It makes me look like I'm mean when I say that, but looks like I need to take vitamin B12. Because, anyway, you look at it for yourself. Look up vitamin B12. It's not about, it could be about memory, but it's about being able to speak clearly. Anyway, whatever. I am a vegan. I do need to take vitamin B12. Something about just keeping a sanguine attitude, which is a positive, upbeat attitude, will do you justice. And if people are saying that if you're having trouble, like, for any reason, creating, just sit back, talk it over with God, switch gears, do something maybe relaxing, and then go back. Because we get our best insight sometimes if we take a break from our projects and take a walk, take a walking meditation, read a spiritual book, and then all of a sudden we think about something that was troubling us, and then we get our guidance. And you're just saying, reminding people, I will always be here for you to lean on, and always, 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 please ask for help. That's so the divine can intervene. So thank you so much. I hope that's been enjoyable for you. I actually, believe it or not, sometimes I don't even remember what the divine said, so I go back and I listen for myself and I get a hello. So thank you so much for being a kind and gentle and wonderful audience. Thank you, subscribers. And until we see each other next time, bye-bye. Blessings.